Welcome to my notes video for my 2023 summer reading list, book 2 of 3 on my summer reading list. I will put a link to where I announce what the books are, that video, in the video description, as well as a link to my Lucky Wallaby Courier playlist, which contains the notes video for the first book on my summer 2023 reading list. So my second book is Catching Fire. This is a first edition hardcover, came out in September 2009 edition. So when I bring up page numbers, it matters per edition and printing and stuff like that. And so this was September 2009, author Suzanne Collins. This is my second of 3 books, and let's jump into it. Introduction, so that was a little bit of the introduction. This is, I guess, notes for Lucky Wallaby Courier, so to speak. My dream print publication. Instead of a literature review, it's notes. So I first got and read this book in the second half of 2012. I was 19 years old, and it was also the last time I read this book before this reading. So I'd read it once and only once before this. And the second half of 2012, I finished it in August 2012. All right, day 1 notes. So I'm doing the notes per section of my reading, so not by chapter or section of the book, but just how I read it. So the first day of reading was Tuesday, 4 July 2023. I read page 1 to 45, which is a total of 46 pages. A total of 45 pages. Sorry, 1 to 45. Okay, my last time reading this book was when I initially got and read it in the second half of 2012. I was 19 years old. Next note, starting off the book, Katniss Everdeen has an air of perceived superiority, as best I can tell, stemming from her guessing right that if Peeta and her pretend ate nightlock berries in the arena of the 74th Annual Hunger Games, Book 1, the Capitol would let them both live. There is emphasis here by Katniss that it was a strategy she figured out herself, that is, she was not a hopeless romantic / truly in love. This matters because it kind of like is the seed of her confidence building in this book. So it's like, yeah. All right, next note. The Kim Kardashian character attributes of Katniss Everdeen continue to grow. Noting Kim Kardashian gained prominence before the Hunger Games were even published. Perhaps the Katniss character is based on / inspired by her. In addition to being a fashionista and caring older sister, as established in the first book, Katniss commits to showcasing being in love with a man. Peeta here, Kanye West for Kim Kardashian, while making her way around the country, including widespread press coverage of her romantic relationship and putting the president's mind at rest. Page 30, President Snow for Katniss Everdeen, President Barack Obama for Kim Kardashian at time of book publication in 2009. Hey, they even have names that start with a K. Okay, also, in this section, Katniss emphasizes how much she loves wearing her stylist / fashion designer's Cinna's clothes. Kim Kardashian also rocks the runway and loves doing so, as far as I can tell. Another note about this section. Katniss liked to go swimming in a lake with her father growing up, so she has a history of swimming, background in swimming, pages 33 to 34. And Katniss is 16 years of age towards the beginning of the book, page 44. So reminder, she's not an adult. And that's something to keep in mind. All right, second section, day 2 of reading. So I took the 5 July 2023 off from reading. So the second day of reading was 6 July 2023, was a Thursday. I read pages 46 through 205, so that's 160 pages. So page 49, Katniss Everdeen registered disgust for tattooed, implanted, and otherwise modified humans. Is this the author Suzanne Collins expressing hate of / towards the real-life drag community? Essentially, the 45-ish-year-old author conveying their feelings through a teenager character to paint it as appropriate, allowable / acceptable. As someone who has a tattoo, it is made clear Katniss, the author, does not like people like me. Pre-page 50 in the series, including the first book, a similar thing occurs when Katniss, the author, communicating hate of people who drink a lot via hate towards character Haymitch. Alternatively, it could be the author being insecure about not being able to drink very much, not being able to hold their own liquor. Either way, the immaturity of the author comes through in the writing, and it is worth noting not everyone has the same type / kind of immature thoughts / thought processes. I was not immature like the author in Katniss Everdeen. Okay, pages 54 to 55. District 11 equals agriculture with an emphasis on growing crops. Page 56, their justice building. Each district has its own justice building. Page 76, embedded prediction for Katniss Everdeen to have a public marriage before she turns 30 years old. Okay, I don't know why author did that, but it's the author. Every author has their quirks, including this non-fiction biographer, to the stars. Okay, page 88, District 8 equals textile production. See on page 140, including military uniforms. Next note, by the end of page 83, Katniss is publicly engaged to Peeta. Ah, I lost my place. Is publicly engaged to Peeta with congratulations from new head game maker Plutarch Heavensby. She was 17 years old at the age of the public engagement. Page 110, Gale passed out after approximately 30 whip lashings in a public square. The author likes the number 30. Pages 114 to 115, Katniss entertained the idea of selling her body to men in the bedroom for money after her father died. She chose hunting instead. I think it's the author trying to make hunting acceptable. Okay, question, or pain is acceptable. Question the accuracy of this book/series as a children's young adult book series. Yeah, if the author's pushing prostitution, is it acceptable? I got questions about this lady's personal life, you know? There's transparency needed here that has not been provided. And she doesn't even have, yeah, like, okay. By page 126, Katniss has a landline telephone, and so does Peeta. Uh-oh, they even call each other. Page 147, District 13 equals nuclear development / graphite miners, and book 1 also mining diamonds. Pages 165 to 166, District 4 equals seafood industry. Page 166, District 3 equals electronics. Next note, districts in this book are introduced in order of their rebellion. That is their alliance with Katniss Everdeen, because this book and the series revolve around her and not providing the readers thorough information about each district, or at least the theme of each district. Aggravating author absent-mindedness. Suzanne Collins, that is. Okay, page 171, a quarter quell is every 25th Hunger Games, or at least not very mindful for readers, not considerate for the readers. Okay, page 183, Peeta, Haymitch, and Katniss start copycatting the style of the career tributes. Okay, next note, thus far in the trilogy, the meaning of the surname Everdeen has not been revealed. Okay, next day, day 3 was Friday, 7 July 2023. I read pages 206 through 287, which was 82 pages. Okay, page 212, Katniss describes herself as loving being unforgiving, and her being unforgiving as getting to be myself at last. Quote. Okay. Page 214 to 215, District 7 equals lumber and paper. Introduction includes full female nudity. Yeah, it shows how the author feels about that. Well, she already pushed female nudity in prostitution, so I don't know where this person's... I gave up. I gave up about this time. Okay, as of page 243, Katniss continues to think about her success with the berries in the arena at the end of the 74th Hunger Games. Girl, move on. Okay, and that was book 1. Page 270, swimming with her dad in a lake. Page 33 to 34, foreshadowed, either you came in here a swimmer or you'd better be a really fast learner. My note, what happened to natural talent? This author has lack of creativity, which is profound, because I'm a nonfiction writer and she's a fiction writer. Okay? Like, clearly this person does not think about sports or sports performance. Okay, page 200. I write about swimmers. Okay, you know, this is relevant for me. Page 282. How does a female main character have uncertainty about being pregnant? Well, that uncertainty would imply Katniss and Peeta did something that would have made her pregnant, though not in the text. So requiring reading behind the lines, there was like a scene where, like, you know, possible canoodling was implied. This book, man. Or she got pregnant when Peeta said she was pregnant on TV. Does reproduction work different for tributes? Like if a man says, Tanis is pregnant on TV, does that make me pregnant? Oh my god, this book. Okay, then the day before is today, Saturday, 8 July 2023. I read pages 288 to 291, 104 pages, and I finished the book. so let's speed. Ah! We're speeding along here. Page 318. I don't really feel like trying to remember who the others are. So that's a quote. Katniss, in reference to tributes, including those she wanted as allies. Yeah, she's kind of a douchebag, like super shallow, superficial character. Kim Kardashian is better. Okay. And she was including those she wanted as allies, specifically Beetee and Wyrus. On page 336, odd author glitch, narration, or Katniss refers to herself in third person in her thoughts. Okay, we're just like impressive in one's thoughts. Lyra says, no, Katniss's point was a lot more basic than that. And it like reads like the author had a storyboard and accidentally put something from the storyboard in the book. I was just like, oh dear. You know, either way, or Katniss Everdeen was referring to herself in the third person. Either way, it's a reminder that the book final product is not synonymous with how it was created or written. This is not one of those kind of books. Okay, which is like somebody just writing it down as it comes out. Page 371, Katniss expresses insecurity at the possibility of her being mentally ill. I'm not gross anyway. I'm not nuts. For myself, as someone who is 30 years old, it's okay. Quote, I'm not Wyrus. I'm not nuts. End quote. For myself, speaking of dummy, as someone who is 30 years old, has not had a boyfriend, and who has not been kissed, I embrace insanity. Okay, next note. Pages 383 to 384, Katniss, a female, naked under a thin nightgown, crashes into a room full of men. Author again pushing female nudity in the presence of men, which she pushed with like full frontal nudity and full female nudity with the lumber district. It was also in front of a man, you know. Was author Suzanne Collins just super horny when she wrote the book? Dang, it comes across that way. Okay, page 383, Katniss initiates an attack on Haymitch. Her weapon is her fingernails, of course. Okay, page 391, Katniss raises her hand against Gale. She's going to hit this guy. And then earlier in the series, she also initiated attack on Peeta by shoving him. She has what in real life some call a history of violence. This book. Okay, do I got time? Yes. Final notes for this book as a whole. Once and only once, a female bully called me Tatness in public, intended to harm in the 1990s, which is about a decade before any book of the Hunger Games series was published publicly, when I was growing up, in part because I wore a lot of temporary tattoos and my name is Tanis, so add tat with Tanis and it's Tanis. I did not like the name, so I had them stop me calling it. Name similarity of Katniss to Tatness meant I was predisposed to dislike the main character. However, since Katniss is quite a bit different than me, like I feed squirrels and had pet rodents growing up, but Katniss kills them for fun and had nightmares about them, the book is more palatable. Next note, I was 19 years old when I first got and read this book, second half of 2012, which was the last time I read it. Next note, I was 30 years of age, the duration of the second reading of the book. Next note, my first time reading it, I took about 3 to 4 days to read it, along with book 3, Mockingjay. Next note, I took longer to read it this time, 4 days of reading over a 5-day period. Next note, my interpretations of the text were a mix of old and new. Next note, I give the book the same score as last time, the first time a 10 out of possible 10. Start attacking if this were the Hunger Games, right? High scores mean attack. Okay, and then last note, I might classify this book in the horror genre, especially like the pregnancy. So happy book 2. I got one more book to go, and then if I don't take too many notes, in the next notes video for book 3, I'll include like a trilogy notes, like I did the final notes for this book. Happy summer of reading!